So we actually have some very important Social Security announcements that we need to address right now. One of these is actually going to expand Social Security benefits to more lower income households. This is massive news. We also need to address the Social Security insolvency date, and I want to go over some key figures that we need to look at as we move forward, because this will or would make it more difficult to see changes to Social Security. So I'm gonna break all this down in today's video. All I ask is one thing, takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So why are we starting to get more and more updates regarding Social Security? Well, it actually is because of multiple reasons. Number one, the Social Security Administration, the commissioner, is starting to do more because now we actually have somebody that is in that seat. Okay? Now, that was the first thing. The second thing is we are getting closer to an election. Guess what? An election means promises. It does not mean action, it means promises. Well, here's the first thing you need to know. The Medicare and Social Security go broke dates, their insolvency dates, they are now being pushed back, which some say is very good news. The one thing I can tell you is it could be good news because now Social Security and Medicare won't become insolvent in the next handful of years, or Social Security, for instance, instead of being insolvent in 2034, which is 10 years away, it's actually 2035, so 1 additional year. So that's good news. The bad news is lawmakers are looking at this as a way to say, well, that got pushed back, so we probably have like an extra year or 2 years to address this. So we don't need to do this now. That's some lawmakers, not all of them. That's the bad thing. Here's the next thing though. Okay, and these are some of the factors that we got to watch for. It says as Social Security's funds face insolvency, experts say these are the key factors to watch. Now, I'm not going to go over all 5 of them. Okay, there's only like 2 or 3 that I really want to address. Here's the first one. It says retirement fund depletion date is less than a decade away. While the overall outlook for Social Security's trust fund improved, the depletion date for the fund used to pay retirement benefits remains unchanged. Okay, keep in mind, the fund has not changed. It says in 2033 that fund will be depleted, at which point 79% of benefits will be payable. As that depletion date gets closer, with it now just 9 years away, there are fewer factors that could change that forecast. That is a huge problem. Now, I want to read a couple other things. Here's a big one. In my opinion, this one right here is a massive, massive one. It says, immigration may help bring in more workers to help pay taxes into the program. It says, legal immigration is preferred, but the effects of illegal immigration on the program are frequently misunderstood. Many illegal immigrants tend to adopt a false Social Security number. While they pay into the program through payroll taxes, they are ineligible to actually claim benefits. So it says immigrants may also have a higher birth rate. Again, this is a big, big deal. And I've said this before, this is one of the things that I personally believe the Biden administration is doing to try to fund Social Security and fund these other social programs. You bring in illegal immigrants, or they just say, immigrants, right? Migrants. But you bring in illegal immigrants, and a good portion of those people are going to go and get a fake Social Security number so that they can go and work. They don't care about paying taxes. They want to work. And if they have to pay taxes on the money that they make, fine, so be it. The business will take the money out for taxes. That's fine. And they may never even claim and go file their end of the year taxes. Okay. But again, it's not their Social Security number. They don't care. All they care about is to make as much money as possible so that they can either take it back down to wherever they're from, right? Give it to their family, or just use it to live here in the U.S. Well, it does help Social Security. It does help Medicare. But at the end of the day, in 50 years, many of those people are not going to go and claim Social Security. So we'll see what happens there. Here's another one. This one is huge in my opinion as well. It says more dramatic changes will be necessary with time. Now, here's the big thing. Why are more dramatic changes necessary with time? Well, it's simple. The closer we get to the insolvency date, the more the changes, or the more we have to see change. It's not like today where we could make a small cut to certain benefits and it would be good in the next 10 years where we could actually sustain ourselves. No. We try to make cuts in 5 years. Instead of a cut of about 5 to 10%, we would likely need to see a cut of 12 to maybe 15 to 17%. Again, it's a problem, but more dramatic changes will be necessary with time. Now, here's the next one. Inflation. Look at this. It says consumer sentiment tumbles as inflation fears surge. You don't got to worry about consumer sentiment, but as inflation goes up, the cost of living goes up as well. That means your cost of living adjustment would go up. As the cost of living adjustments keep going up, and this is what's crazy, is that we've seen inflation at 9.1% here in the US over the past handful of years, but yet the insolvency date for Social Security didn't really change. We've seen unemployment jump up as well, but again, the insolvency date didn't really change. Some people question whether or not that insolvency date is actually legitimate, or if it has a plus or minus of maybe 2 to 5 years. Possibly. But here's the big one. This is the big announcement that came out just recently. Okay? Look at this. It says the Social Security Administration changes rules on rental and food assistance to expand access for low-income households. Now, I want to touch on this. I want to explain what it is. Okay? Let's look at it. It's this one right here. Says Social Security update could expand benefits to millions. Now let's actually read this. This is the one I want to read to you. It says a public assistance household, let's go read the first one. It says Social Security has expanded access to the Supplemental Social Security Income SSI program to potentially millions of Americans by expanding the definition of a public assistance household, or PA. And now, it says a PA household, according to the now discarded definition, this was the old definition, was one in which every member receives some kind of public income maintenance. Payments under programs including Social Security, aid to families with dependent children, TANF, the Refugee Act of 1980, and the Disaster Relief and Emergency Assistance Act, among others. That was the old definition. Here's the new one. The new one is this. It says, under the Social Security Administration SSA recently published final rule, the agency is expanding the definition of a public assistance household to include those receiving Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP payments, and households where not all members receive public assistance. So this means if you are in a household that has one member that is on SNAP benefits, well, you qualify. This new rule is going to open the doors for millions of people to receive Social Security, or the Supplemental Security Income. This is going to be huge. Now, there's a couple things you need to know. Number one, this is likely to cause more pain for the Social Security Administration and the fund, because that's going to pull a lot more money out than money that's going in. That's the first problem. The second problem is who is actually going to receive these benefits. This is likely something that the Republican Party is going to come after and say, no, you can't just go and open the door to everybody. We need to have a little more strict guidelines. Because again, if we send all the money out and then Social Security's fund goes insolvent sooner, then the Republican Party and the Democrats are going to have to come together and find a way to fund it, which as of right now is looking almost impossible. So just wanted to fill you in on what's going on at this time. Again, some major changes regarding Social Security are happening as we speak, but I just wanted to share those with you because, again, this right here is one major announcement. So If you have any questions regarding Social Security, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. But again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing. I'll see you guys on the next one.